Let's take a look at the starting grid, brought to you by Nexium. Up front, Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick. Keselowski, his pole speed was the fastest on mile-and-a-half tracks this year, over 198 miles an hour average around this track.
And get long. We're going to see how interesting these first few laps could be.
First two rows are made up with chase drivers, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano. Fans on their feet as they come through the restart zone. The green flag is in the air. We're racing at Texas. 3,500-pound cars leaning on the 24 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as they go around this track at nearly 200 miles an hour. And out front, Keselowski and Kevin Harvick, 1 and 2. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson in the top 5. Eric Jones in the 20, subbing for Matt Kenseth after the 2-race suspension. Eric Jones, a 19-year-old, getting the nod. Welcome back to NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing from Texas, presented by Nexium. Fast laps continue to be turned at Texas Motor Speedway, and the fastest lap, presented by Sprint, has been run by Brad Keselowski. 194.27 miles per hour, the average speed around this mile and a half. Follow this Sprint Cup at Twitter now for a chance to win an autographed hat from today's victory lane. That fastest lap would have been fast enough to qualify 11th for Brad Keselowski, and he did win the pole. He was over 198 miles an hour in qualifying. Let's go through the field, brought to you by Sprint. We'll start with Kelly Stouts.
Brad Keselowski was one of those chase drivers involved in a wreck last week at Martinsville, and because of that, he said, we are in a must-win situation. We don't have the opportunity to just be consistent over the next 2 races and move on. His crew chief, Paul Wolf, echoed that, saying that we'll definitely be on the aggressive side of things if there is an opportunity there. For them, it is win or nothing to move on, Dave.
Wave arounds on the lead lap. 27 of those as they get into the restart zone. 18 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. .48 of Jimmie Johnson got a little sideways. So did the 18 of Kyle Busch as they went into turn 1. Fighting for the lead down the backstretch. Martin Truex Jr. on the outside in the 78. They stay side by side. Coming back in front of the grandstands, Martin Truex Jr. has the lead. Little bumping as they go into turn number 1. Brad Keselowski shoves the 78 up the track. Keselowski back out front. Here comes the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. He moves up to second. Brad Keselowski, a dominant performance today, has led coming up on his 300th lap of the 318 that have been run.
That guy in his mirror, though, Jimmie Johnson's won the last 3 Texas
You're
fall
fine.
races.
Get that 48, come on. Worry about him later. Two back.
You see his the
48
right there.
coming now.
He comes off the bottom, gave that 48 that clean air, Jeff.
You're going to have to be perfect with the 48 putting pressure on you. You cannot look in the mirror. You have to pay attention to what's in front of you. Ignore the 48 behind you.
Closing the gap on the back bumper. Jimmie Johnson started in the chase, one of the 16 drivers running for a championship. He was running for his 7th championship, but he was eliminated after the first round.
Remember, this is what happened last year. The 48 came to Texas out of the championship hunt, but won this race a year ago.
48 went to the top side. Now Keselowski has to make a decision. What does he want to do? Does he want to go to the top to try to block? He goes to the bottom. 48 ran right to his rear bumper. The 2s accelerated away from him.
How good is the 48 in the closing laps at Texas? Coming up on 14 laps. Talking about a track bar adjustment.
No. I think he's talking about a line adjustment. I think that he needed to change his line. There he went high on the exit, high on the entry. That's allowed him to leave the corner low. When he goes high on entry, it affects the 48. It hurts the drive on the 48 because it takes the air off his car. So I think the adjustment was on his driving style.
This is where I'm nervous, though. Brad decides to run the top, but he gives the clean air to the 48 on the bottom. He leaves close to him. The 48
like
is...
working the lap traffic. There's so many of them.
And you hear about the lap traffic. The 48 is much better than the 2 and 1 and 2. He seems to gain on him at this end of the racetrack every lap. You see again, the 48 closes up on the 2's bumper.
And they're coming up on lap traffic. Under 6 laps to go. The gap, again, a car length between the 2 and the 48. Which lines will they choose? They go over the bumps through 3 and 4.
Now Brad has a tough decision to make. The 48 made up a lot of time by running the bottom of the racetrack in 1 and 2 that time. So what do? Do you go to the top or do you go to the bottom?
This time, he goes to the middle. The 48 down to the bottom of the track. Almost gets the front bumper to the rear quarter panel of the 2 of Brad Keselowski.
So these lap cars get out of the way, stay out of the fight.
48 strong again, looking low.
Watch your corner there.
Brad got a little free there. It looked like he couldn't quite commit to the power.
I think Brad needs to go to the bottom right now. Jimmie Johnson's made the bottom work. I think you have to take that away from him. As soon as he went to the bottom, the 48 made an adjustment and went to the top.
Now Jimmy's going to look to try to roll this momentum right here. This is his chance. This is the closest he's been on the exit of 2.
He's going to close to you, coming to you inside.
Has the preferred line now to the bottom of the track. Can he complete the pass? He does. Jimmie Johnson in front of Texas.
312 laps led by the 2 car. With 4 to go, they lose the lead.
Jimmie Johnson out front, and the crowd roaring.
Jimmie Johnson's just so much faster right now than Keselowski. I thought Kes did the right thing by going to the bottom, not giving Jimmie Johnson what had worked the last 2 laps, but when he did it, it just didn't work. But I think the 48's going to try.
Win at Texas. The 6-time champion.
Way back.
To the bottom of the racetrack. Jimmie Johnson will lead 6 laps, but the most important one as he comes out of turn 4. Johnson wins at Texas again.
Yeah, boys, we're back. Great job, buddy. Great job. Make sure we got our track bar and everything where we need it. Great job.
And on the radio, you hear it. We're back. It had been 20 starts between wins for Jimmie Johnson and the 48 team.
Guys, really good job. Really good job. Pretty awesome.
After leading 312 laps of this race, Brad, what more could you have done there at the end of it?
Yeah, just the 48 car had mega turn that last run, and I couldn't keep the turn, and I just kept pushing real bad, and he just kept turning and turning. I did everything I could to hold him off, but he was way faster that last run. Their team, they did a hell of a job. They found a lot of speed, but my team did a hell of a job. We led 300-some laps, and nothing you can do about the debris yells at the end of these races. They're going to favor some and hurt some others, and it wasn't our day for them to favor us, but still a lot to be proud of with the Worth Ford Fusion, and we'll have a great shot of winning next week as well. We really needed to win this one, but I know I gave it my all, and I feel good about that.
You immediately made a beeline to go find the 78 Martin Truex Jr. What did you want to say to him?
Well, I didn't know if I came. I didn't know if I came up into him or if he came down into me. Either way, we got together, and it probably didn't help either of us. And just want to tell him I hated that it happened. I thought he ran a great race.
Incredible day, but he'll have to go win one now in Phoenix.